Long ago, in an ancient rural village, there lived a community of wandering gypsies. They spent their days traveling from place to place, crossing dusty roads, forests, and open fields in search of work, trade, and adventure. Every evening, when the sun disappeared beyond the horizon, they returned to an old wooden hut on the edge of the village. The hut was worn by time, with creaking floors and faded walls, but it was large enough to shelter travelers for the night. One cold evening, 7 gypsies of different ages gathered inside the hut. Some were young and strong, while others were old and wise. After a long day of walking, they sat around the fireplace, exhausted. As the night grew darker, their stomachs began to growl. "We need something to eat," said one of the younger gypsies. "But none of us has enough food for a proper meal," replied another. After a moment of discussion, one of the older men came up with an idea. "Each of us still has a little rice left in our bags. If everyone contributes 1 handful of rice, we can make a large pot of porridge and share it together." The others thought it was a wonderful idea. Everyone agreed. They brought out a large old pot and placed it over a fire. Soon the water inside began to boil. They added a few herbs and spices they had collected during their travels, filling the hut with a pleasant aroma. Then it was time for each person to add their handful of rice. The first gypsy walked toward the pot. As he reached into his bag, a selfish thought crossed his mind. "Why should I waste my rice?" he thought. "The other 6 will add theirs. 1 handful won't make a difference. Nobody will notice if I keep mine." Pretending to throw rice into the pot, he secretly dropped nothing at all. The second gypsy stepped forward. As he approached the pot, he had exactly the same thought. "The others will contribute. I can save my rice and still enjoy the meal." He also pretended to add rice. Then came the third. Then the fourth. Then the fifth. Then the sixth. And finally the 7th. One after another, every single gypsy had the same selfish idea. Each believed that the others would contribute enough rice to make the porridge. Each believed that 1 missing handful would not matter. And each secretly kept their rice hidden inside their own bag. Not a single grain of rice entered the pot. Yet nobody knew what the others had done. The water continued to boil. The herbs and spices swirled around inside the pot. The smell was pleasant. The appearance looked promising. And as the hours passed, everyone became more and more excited for dinner. Finally, the porridge was declared ready. The 7 gypsies gathered around a wooden table. Bowls were placed before them. One by one, they filled their bowls from the pot. As they lifted their spoons, they smiled with anticipation. After all, 7 handfuls of rice should have made a hearty meal. Together, they took the first sip. The room fell silent. The smiles instantly disappeared. The porridge tasted horrible. It was nothing more than hot water with a few spices floating inside. There was no thickness. No texture. No rice. Not even a single grain. The meal was completely tasteless. For a brief moment, everyone stared into their bowls. Each gypsy immediately understood what had happened. Each realized that the others must have done exactly what he had done. Each knew that his own selfishness had helped create this disaster. Yet something strange happened. Nobody complained. Nobody accused anyone else. Nobody asked where the rice had gone. Because every single person at that table knew they were equally guilty. Silently, they continued drinking the watery soup. Spoon after spoon. Bowl after bowl. Pretending everything was fine. When the meal was finished, they put down their bowls and prepared for bed. That night, all 7 gypsies lay on their blankets with empty stomachs. Their bags were still full of rice. Yet they remained hungry. Not because they lacked food, but because they lacked cooperation. As the old hut grew quiet, the lesson became clear. If everyone tries to benefit without contributing, everyone loses. And when selfishness becomes common, even people surrounded by resources can end up hungry. The moral of the story is simple: a community succeeds when everyone contributes their fair share. When everyone expects others to do the work, nothing valuable is ever created.